In the year 1849, deep within the unforgiving, sun-scorched sands of modern-day Iraq, British archaeologist Austin Henry Layard accomplished what many thought impossible. He broke through the collapsed, forgotten stone walls of the ancient Library of Ashurbanipal in Nineveh. Imagine the scene, surrounded by centuries of heavy, suffocating dust and absolute silence. His excavation team unearthed thousands of cracked clay fragments, buried beneath the weight of empires. Most of these artifacts recorded mundane administrative files, routine grain trades, tax collection records, or the long, pristine royal lineages of Mesopotamian kings. To the untrained eye, it was simply the administrative debris of a dead world. But tucked away in the deepest, darkest corner of that subterranean vault lay a specific series of tablets that defied the entire timeline of known academic history. This text did not speak of ordinary men. It did not speak of ordinary conflicts or mortal kings. Instead, it detailed an epic, apocalyptic cosmic war that shook the heavens and fractured the earth exactly 2,000 years before the catastrophic waters of the Great Flood wiped humanity's slate clean. It described a cataclysmic era where the supreme architects of humanity clashed in a brutal struggle against an entire race of violent, primordial giants, and ultimately locked them away in a prison of dark matter deep beneath the very crust of the earth. For generations, modern academia, mainstream universities, and standard history books have told you that these narratives were nothing more than fractured fairy tales. They dismissed them as primitive attempts by early humans to explain the unknown forces of nature. They told you the Greek underworld of Tartarus, the Hebrew prison of Sheol, and the Sumerian myth of the Kur were completely isolated, unconnected cultural anomalies. But what you are looking at right now is the original, unified blueprint. A singular, heavily suppressed testimony written in stone long before the first pages of the Hebrew Bible were ever conceived. What if the ancient stories of angels falling from grace and titans being bound in eternal darkness are describing the exact same historical, global event? What if the prison doors are still down there, functional and hidden, buried beneath 5 millennia of silent, shifting rock? Today, we crack open the forbidden archives of the Mythos Codex to reveal the terrifying structural truth that mainstream history actively chose to bury. How is it possible that ancient cultures separated by thousands of miles of open, impassable oceans and centuries of time drew the exact same geographical map of the underworld? If you analyze the ancient Greek texts with a modern lens, the Titans were not just defeated in combat. They were cast into a subterranean abyss so unimaginably deep that a bronze anvil falling from heaven would take 9 days and 9 nights just to strike the bottom. In the Hebrew tradition, this dark, silent domain is mirrored in Sheol, a place of absolute stillness and dust, where the ancient rebels await a final, cosmic judgment. And in the oldest, prehistoric tales of Mesopotamia, it is called the Kur, a hollow, terrifying realm of no return, operating beneath the very bedrock of the world. These are not separate myths invented by creative minds. They are technical translations of the same terrifying reality. Every ancient civilization left behind a key, a geometric clue pointing directly down into the dark. But modern humanity became blind to the structural precision of their warnings. We spent the last century looking exclusively at the stars, searching the cosmos for our creators while completely ignoring the colossal secrets they left locked directly beneath our feet. What if the global grid of ancient monuments, from the pyramids of Giza to the ziggurats of Mesopotamia, wasn't built to align with the constellations for agricultural purposes? What if they were engineered to serve as a massive planetary energetic seal, a geopolitical lock designed to keep something primordial from waking up? To truly understand the structural nature of this subterranean prison, we must decode the oldest written text available to mankind, the cuneiform tablets of Nippur. Written over 5,000 years ago, long before the rise of Greece or Rome, these tablets describe the Anunnaki, the celestial beings who descended from the heavens, and the great, unyielding decree of the sky god, Anu. According to these ancient records, a powerful faction of these celestial beings rebelled against the cosmic order. They aligned themselves with the raw, primordial forces of the earth, breeding with the local inhabitants and manifesting as the giants of old, beings of immense, terrifying physical stature and violent, destructive natures. Crucially, the tablets do not describe their ultimate punishment as a simple execution or a burial. The texts explicitly state that the Anunnaki utilized a sophisticated technology described as glowing stone molds and magnetic plasma bounds. They used these forces to tie the literal life force and consciousness of these defeated giants directly into the tectonic plates and mantle of the planet. The geography of this abyss is described by the Sumerian scribes with terrifying surgical detail. It speaks of the subterranean rivers of dark, highly reflective liquid, located directly beneath the modern geological basins of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This is a specific region where the magnetic compass of modern science spins uncontrollably to this very day, disrupted by the lingering high-frequency energy of the ancient seals. This isn't ancient poetry or religious metaphor. It is a highly detailed geological blueprint of a subterranean containment grid that has been operating in secret for thousands of years. This is the exact structural point where history, myth, and biblical prophecy collide into a singular truth. If we turn away from mainstream theology and examine the extra-biblical texts, specifically the ancient, heavily suppressed Book of Enoch, the narrative becomes absolutely undeniable. Enoch describes a group known as the Watchers, the fallen angels who descended upon the peaks of Mount Hermon. He writes that after they corrupted the human lineage, creating the monstrous Nephilim giants, the Creator commanded the archangels to bind them securely in the lowest valleys of the earth until the day of their final, catastrophic destruction. Enoch explicitly characterizes this place as a jagged, dark abyss filled with burning frost, absolute darkness, and heavy, unbreakable chains of iron. The description matches the Greek description of Tartarus and the Sumerian blueprint of the Kur perfectly. Same chains, same subterranean depth, same cosmic prisoners. When the Book of Genesis speaks of the fountains of the great deep breaking open during the onset of the Great Flood, the ancient texts imply it wasn't just heavy rain falling from the sky. The original languages suggest that the planetary seals themselves were shaken. The earth fractured violently to swallow the remnants of that titanic war, burying the bronze doors mentioned in the oldest myths under miles of ocean bedrock, volcanic sediment, and compressed stone. They remain there directly beneath the foundations of our modern cities. Now, as we piece together this global puzzle, we must face the ultimate, terrifying question. if these texts from across the ancient world are telling the literal truth. What happens when those 5,000-year-old seals finally fail? Every major ancient prophecy, from the Book of Revelation to the Sumerian end-time fragments, warns of a specific epoch when the earth will shake uncontrollably, the mountains will fracture, and the ancient prisoners will be unleashed from their subterranean bonds. We live our modern, comfortable lives in the sterile light of glowing screens, completely detached from the silent ancient rock shifting miles beneath our feet. We walk through our modern metropolises thinking we are the undisputed masters of history, yet we are merely standing on the thin, fragile ceiling of a massive 5,000-year-old cosmic prison. The Sumerian scribes did not carve these stories into clay tablets to entertain future generations or to be categorized as mythology. They wrote them as an urgent, planetary warning system, a code written in indestructible stone meant to outlast the rise and fall of mortal empires. The question is no longer whether these ancient giants and fallen architects existed. The true, definitive question is, how much time do we have left before the ancient gates fracture and the abyss opens once again? Thank you for exploring the Forbidden Archives with us today. If you are ready to uncover the truths that mainstream history and modern academia continue to suppress, make sure to hit the subscribe bell, leave a like, and join the Mythos Codex. The journey into the deep has only just begun.